The 1960s gave Britain some unforgettable cars, but not all of them were fast. While Jaguar chased speed records and Mini dominated headlines, ordinary British families were often driving machines so slow they could barely keep up with modern traffic. Some were cheap, some were tiny, and some felt painfully underpowered even when brand new. Today on UKTORQUE, we are counting down 10 of the slowest British cars of the 1960s. And trust me, by the time we reach number 1, you will wonder how this thing was ever allowed on public roads. Number 10, Ford Popular 100e. The Ford Popular 100e looked honest and dependable, but underneath sat an ancient 1.2-liter side-valve engine producing just 36 horsepower. That meant painfully slow acceleration and a top speed around 68 miles per hour on a perfect day. The 3-speed gearbox did not help either. Drivers constantly searched for momentum that simply did not exist, but Britain still bought thousands because it was affordable and simple to maintain. And somehow, the next car was even slower. Number 9, Morris Minor 1000. The Morris Minor is one of Britain's most loved classic cars, but quick? Absolutely not. Powered by a tiny 948 cubic centimeters A-series engine with only 37 horsepower, the Minor struggled when loaded with passengers or luggage. Overtaking required planning, patience, and sometimes pure bravery. Owners loved its charm and friendly styling, but speed was never part of the experience. Number 8, Austin A35. The Austin A35 became a familiar sight across British suburbs during the early 1960s. Reliable. Yes. Exciting. Not even slightly. Its 948 cubic centimeters engine produced only 34 horsepower, sending the car from 0 to 60 in roughly 26 seconds. Joining fast-moving traffic felt genuinely stressful. Still, buyers accepted the slow pace because the A35 was economical and dependable during difficult financial times. Number 7, Standard 8. The Standard 8 pushed affordable motoring to the absolute limit. Its tiny 803 cubic centimeters engine produced just 26 horsepower. Reaching 60 miles per hour took around 36 agonizing seconds. That is long enough to regret every life decision that brought you into the driver's seat. The steering felt vague, the ride soft, and the performance almost non-existent. But for families needing cheap transport, it was better than walking. Number 6, Hillman Husky Series 2. The Hillman Husky was designed as practical family transport, not a performance machine. Its small 1.3-liter engine struggled badly once passengers and luggage were added. Hills became slow-motion battles while motorway driving sounded like mechanical torture. The boxy estate shape also created plenty of wind resistance, making high speeds feel deeply uncomfortable. And from here, things become genuinely strange. Number 5, Reliant Regal 3/25. Now we enter the world of British three-wheelers. The Reliant Regal used a tiny 600 cubic centimeters engine producing around 25 horsepower. Acceleration was painfully slow, and the three-wheel layout made corners feel far more dramatic than drivers wanted. Rain, crosswinds, and fast turns all became terrifying experiences. But low taxes and cheap running costs kept the Regal alive on British roads for years. Number 4, Meadows Frisky Sport. The Meadows Frisky Sport sounded exciting, but reality was very different. This tiny microcar used a 324 cubic centimeters two-stroke engine producing only 16 horsepower. Top speed barely reached 55 miles per hour, and even getting there required enormous patience. The little engine buzzed loudly while the car crawled forward with all the urgency of a lawn mower. Today it feels charming. Back then, it simply felt slow. Number 3, Nobel 200. The Nobel 200 was Britain's answer to ultra-cheap personal transport. Powered by a tiny 191 cubic centimeters engine producing roughly 9 horsepower, the Nobel struggled to reach 50 miles per hour. Strong winds could genuinely affect performance. Its lightweight body and tiny dimensions made every journey feel fragile and exposed. Yet for many drivers in the early 1960s, this was the only affordable way to own a motor vehicle. Number 2, Bond Minicar MKF. The Bond Minicar was one of the strangest British vehicles ever sold. Its tiny two-stroke engine produced just over 8 horsepower, driving a single front wheel. The engine itself actually turned with the steering, creating a bizarre driving experience unlike anything else on British roads. Top speed hovered around 55 miles per hour, though most drivers probably avoided going that fast. And somehow, there was still one car slower than this. Number 1, PLP 50. The PLP 50 was less a car and more a motorized suitcase. Built on the Isle of Man, this tiny three-wheeler used a 49 cubic centimeters engine producing just 4 horsepower. Top speed was around 38 miles per hour, meaning cyclists could almost keep pace. There was no reverse gear either. Drivers had to climb out and physically drag the car backwards by hand. It remains the smallest production car ever built and without question one of the slowest vehicles Britain has ever unleashed onto public roads. So those were 10 of the slowest British cars of the 1960s. Some were cheap, some were clever, and some were completely ridiculous. But every single one tells the story of a Britain still rebuilding, where economy mattered far more than speed. Which one would you actually dare to drive today? Like, subscribe, and comment below for more classic British car stories here on UKTORQUE.